What's going on, traders? It seems like we are in an all-out rally. Every sector up from the open. Let's get to the stocks because, man, we are just ripping higher. If you don't think we're in a bubble now, what are you waiting for? I mean, people keep looking at me crazy because I say that we're in a bubble. I mean, just look at the stock action. This is bullish as can be, man. And look at that. Big breakouts. Of course, we could see a turnaround tomorrow, but man, look at this push in 4 days on the SPY, just clearing it today. And there's some stocks up big. I did see you guys mention in the chat a lot of those kind of crypto names. Definitely something to keep an eye out for. But man, we got stocks just going through the moon right now. And it hasn't been a bad day for me. I wasn't able to take many trades. Of course, today we had the AI event that took a little bit more of my time. Didn't do too bad on a last AMD trade to the upside. Got out there at 115, but it's up there now to 116 and going a little bit higher. So I didn't get that. I didn't get this recent lift. I got this first push to 115. I was looking at it now. It made a nice move here just towards 3 p.m. Definitely getting a power hour rally here. And we're just shooting to the moon. At least it seems like. Let's take a look at stocks like Riot ripping to the moon. It just seems like we got a lot of stocks just taking off today. Let's go to some top movers. Since I didn't do too much trading, we'll just stick to some top movers of the day. And of course, we could take a look at my stocks. They're in the green just slightly. BJ turned around on me today. So not happy about that one, but glad I was able to take the first profits. We'll see if I actually do get out on it. But Zscaler turning around things after getting hit yesterday. Also PanW turning things back around. And also CrowdStrike getting a little bit of a bounce there. So we'll see what happens there in the Qs. But that one was definitely a top mover on the day. PDD. And it looks like we're getting ourselves a little bit of a China rally. I would definitely pay attention to this because take a look at BABA. Ever since I started mentioning that Ant Group mention, and I'm going to circle that date because I think it's very important to kind of catch. And one thing that I can clearly see is the 50 moving average starting to move pretty fast to the 200 day. This could mean that the end of the bear market here for BABA is in. And one thing that I see also on the weekly, this looks like a big head and shoulders pattern, right? And I'm looking for this to kind of come into play. You know what? Let's go to the scratch. And I'm going to draw this out for us here. And I can kind of clearly see this. And I think that this is an important one to look at. And I only really look at head and shoulders more on a weekly basis. Why? Because you're talking about a long price trend, right? And so now we look like we're trying to break out of this price trend. And then you can clearly see, you know, right shoulder, left shoulder, and then we got our head right here. So this looks like a nice little head and shoulder pattern that wants to come back through 100. And once it gets through 100, it can really start taking off. So I know that a lot of people are worried, and I've been one of those people that have talked about Taiwan and what could potentially happen. But the truth is, that could always happen. And I mean, this could be a really good trade to kind of catch before it takes off. PDD starting to come back up after kind of pulling back recently. And I can see here on the monthlies or weeklies, it doesn't look too bad now on the dailies as it starts coming higher, like kind of a little bit of a cup and handle pattern. We'll look to see if we can get to the next high. JD starting to come off the bottom. So keep your eyes on these stocks. I think they really could start getting a little bit of a push. Baidu up there to 152. Also looking like a little bit of a trying to trend reversal. And I can see a head and shoulders pattern on there, right? We talked about the head and shoulders patterns for so long on the SPY that eventually broke to the upside. Well, let's start seeing if we get this Baidu pattern to start ripping to the upside. Next highs to watch for are 160s. We'll see what happens there. All right, Smoke Tuna talking about, am I still shorting RX? I did not short RX today. I was looking at doing it out the open, but that was really out the open. It did get a nice little pushback with the market a little bit later in the day towards 13, but don't worry, Smoke Tuna. I didn't short this bad boy today. Let's keep going, especially in a day where you're getting the stocks ripping to the upside. It doesn't make sense to get a lot of short right now, at least maybe on a swing, but I mean, you have to play the top. You have to wait till the market gets right towards the end of the day, and then maybe you could take a swing to the downside, but you'd be pushing it, I think. Let's keep going, team. You guys smash it up out there. I see you guys in the chat. Don't worry. We'll get to Riot, Mara, and those stocks. They're definitely ripping as Bitcoin stocks and Bitcoin overall ripping. Where's Bitcoin trading at right now? I haven't taken a look at Bitcoin in a little bit since this morning. I know I saw it ripping higher, but we'll see where it's trading at in just a few minutes. Let's keep going. Let's get back there towards the Qs, to some of the top movers of the day. And of course, if you guys got a stock you guys wanted to look at, keep throwing them up. We'll keep going through them and smash that like. I hope that you guys enjoyed the AI conference today. We had a virtual event that was really good, included Qualcomm and multiple companies. If you haven't taken a look, go ahead and check it out. All right, let's keep going. 31K. All right, we're almost there. Can we get to 40K? And if that goes higher, you know what happens, guys. We'll keep an eye on it. Of course, Qualcomm at our AI event today. And look at the takeoff, guys. Well, I mean, I kind of gonna give you guys the heads up that they were going to be on Benzinga. At least I was giving you guys that heads up. But man, that's a nice little breakout in Qualcomm. And I'm not even going to lie. We were interviewing them today, and I was here like, man, I want to buy this stock today, but can't do it. Don't have it. But now I'm going to keep an eye on it, right? We've already done the interviews. I'm going to be looking for pullbacks towards kind of like 121 on Qualcomm to maybe risk off the 120s, looking for a move back up there towards the bigger trend line towards this upside. A 132 move doesn't look too bad there to keep my eye on it. All right, let's keep going, team. How are we going to look out there? Let's smash it up out there, team. All right, let's see what else is going on. Let's go to the Riot stock. Let's go take a look at those Mara and Riot. And of course, when have we been tracking Riot for this move? Since June 12th. We talked about it yesterday. Really good opportunity that we mentioned right here on the laggard trade for Riot. I also mentioned it on PreMarket Prep multiple times. Just to kind of put it out there. And Riot took a huge liftoff move there, now at 2050s. And I know that you guys were talking about some other names. Feel free to throw some of those names up. Of course, you guys can take a look at Hive, at Hut. There was another one that was mentioned here yesterday. I thought that was a nice one too. Coin, look at that takeoff. Didn't someone downgrade Coin today? Oh, man. If you downgraded Coin today, you got smacked there, man. Oh, my God. What a move there towards 107. Big push up there. So keep your eyes on what can happen there. But it looks like Bitcoin moving higher. Just get the real thing. Well, I mean, these stocks ripped, Eddie. So I hear you on getting the real thing like Bitcoin, but there's nothing wrong with playing it this way. I mean, I think it really works out. And Riot would have been a really nice win. PayPal is ready to rip now. Yeah, I mean, it's ripping higher. I wouldn't say it's ready to rip. It's already ripped, but it could keep going, right? 9% move higher. We were actually looking at this move with Square. So, Jenny, we were taking a look at Square for a move through 70. I actually rode this up to 67 on a swing, but eventually sold this at right there at 67. And when it pulled back to 62, it did give an opportunity here. And now it's up there to 76. Filled this gap. We actually drew this gap here on June 8th. June 8th, 6-8. There, you guys see it. And now it's starting to fill that up there. And that was right here. So as it was starting to pull back, we said, would it fill the gap? Yeah, it filled the gap and more. And now it's starting to get up there towards the 80s. Not a bad little move there in Square. So stocks that have lagged. These are a bunch of stocks that we can start keeping account on. Look at ARKK with a takeoff to the 50s. Now this is a really good move. I played ARKK up there towards 44, but man, I should have maybe held on to it as it keeps going higher. We'll see what else is going on. What's up with Shop? I'm sure it's probably going higher as Amazon released news, of course, with their Prime Day. And that's all you need. So realize that a lot of times stocks are going to move off of what? Off of relationships. You guys hear Dennis talk about that all the time. I talk about that all the time with Story, right? And understanding sectors and industry and how relationships kind of work for each other. Well, what's up with Shop? Take a look at Amazon. Nice little move on today, even though they mentioned already about Prime. Look at that move higher. 6.8 6.4% move off a mentioned here. We talked about it. Would Amazon get the lift on Prime Day? Oh, it definitely did. Nice little move higher. All right, let's keep going. We'll take a look at some other ones. Leonard, I don't think I will be talking too much about Nikola, Workhorse, and Rivian, but who knows? Out of those three, which one would I like? I like Rivian. And don't get me wrong, because I've mentioned Workhorse in the past and know a lot about the company. Now, Nikola, that's a whole nother ball game. But hey, we'll see what happens. Let's go back to the stock market action. Let's see what's going on. We could also take a look at what was ARKK's like kind of biggest gain today, right? I think that's always important. I take a look at that all the time. I just want to take a look at what stocks are in there, right? How's it trading? So let's go ahead. Let's take a look here. Let's go to Q's right quick there. ARKK should give me the stocks there, but some reason I'm not getting my stocks just to kind of pull up here. So I'll keep going. Let's go back towards technology. Let's see what did really well in the Qs. I just wanted to talk a little bit about Bitcoin there. Let's go back to Datadog, of course, Datadog, whatever you want to say, Datadog. Well, this is continuing higher, and I think this is one that we could see continuing to push. This is also one of those that I expect to get a good mention tomorrow for the 14th mention of the rebalance on the Qs. And that's one thing that we got to keep an eye out for, because we could be seeing a little bit of a capitulation top here, especially as stocks continue higher, and could pull back tomorrow with that rebalance. So just be careful, especially in the bigger names. I would definitely keep an eye on it. All right, let's keep going. Definitely, it's all about relationships. You guys got to catch them. All right, let's keep going. Smoke Tuna says RX is the biotech AI play now. I mean, there's always a lot of AI plays. Everyone's going to jump in that bubble if they can. All right, let's keep going. Let's go to some different stocks here. Let's go to also, we're going to stay in the Qs. We're going to keep going in technology because that's the area to kind of watch. Also, the banks report tomorrow, right? That's another thing to kind of keep an eye on it. We'll get to the banks in just a second. It's the second leader, is the second leading sector in, of course, in all the stocks today from the open. So we'll talk about the financial sector in a second here. I do think that with their earnings coming out, they could have ran right into their earnings, but it's a pretty high bar to set now. All right, let's keep looking at what else is going on here. Let's go to a different stock here. Let's keep working down the line and see what we're seeing here. Marvell with a nice little hold of the gap down. I've been seeing multiple stocks do this, like Marvell and Oracle. Look at that nice little move, trying to get into the gap. Now it's starting to go higher, and these could keep pushing. So these aren't bad ones to kind of keep an eye out for. Marvell, not looking too bad. I even seen Micron starting to work its way back. Who knows? Maybe this starts to make a move a little bit higher here. And then Intel, we talked about this one. This one's not partaking in the rally today. I'll kind of watch to see if it can get in the rally tomorrow. All right, let's keep going in technology. What else? Let's go to the sectors here and see what did well today. Semiconductor equipment stocks. So now we're talking like Lam Research, right? We're talking like AMAT. I saw AMAT had a nice little move here. We'll look to see if it gets a nice little lift here towards the close, but nice little opening rally here, a little bit higher. We'll see if it can keep pushing. Lam Research up there at 640.05. Can this continue to climb? Look at the daily chart. Really nice daily chart as it continues to go higher. Weekly chart even looking better as this starts to push, where we can start taking a look at the next levels to watch for. Next level I'd be looking for is a move up here towards kind of 658. But we're talking ways away from there. And then the next level from there could really start pushing back there towards 700. So I'd keep an eye out on this. This could really start getting hot. We'll see what happens there on Lam Research. KLC also having a good day, and a couple of those you guys can keep an eye out for. All right, let's keep going into the sectors. We also got software application names to get a little bit higher. Shop falls under that category. CRM, SAT, into it. And you can see here, common theme, right? Look how many stocks are in the green and pushing higher in these software names and names that I'd keep an eye out for. We've talked about Snow and how it's done multiple mentions with really big names. And I've been waiting for a little bit of a turnaround. Well, there you guys have it. Right back to the upside here. Held that 170 support, has held it multiple times. Now I'd be looking to see if we can take out 190 on Snow and start really kind of ripping towards this level. I'll even put a box there to see if we can fill that up maybe into next week, but doesn't look bad at all there for a move towards 190. Snow with a nice little lift. All right, other ones here that I keep an eye out for, and especially we got to keep an eye out for anything that has like kind of AI mentions, right? The trade desk, really nice lift off there towards 90. Mobileye has continued to go. Datadog, we've talked about that. HubSpot, where is Jason Raznick? Alert to Jason Raznick. You're up there to 552. Well, HubSpot just work its way all the way back? Seems like it right now. Let's take a look there. Coin, what a rip there today. Up back above triple digits. So shout out to those coin investors. You made a good call. All right, let's take a look there on Unity. Unity continuing higher, and that just shows us the growth names continuing higher. Roku with a nice little push. Even Zoom is one that I'll be watching for a continued lift now as it's starting to get out of this long-term trend. And I think that's very important to keep an eye out for. Look at this weekly trend, guys. It's now starting to really lift. Now I'd be looking for little pullbacks on Zoom. This could actually start getting moving to the upside. We'll see what happens there on Zoom, especially pullbacks to 70 seem to make sense for me. All right, time to catch up with you guys in the chat. What's going on? Michael Saylor going to seem like a greedy genius. Yeah. This is extreme greed. It don't matter, Hammer. Look at that move. What a rip. And this thing was looking ugly down here, but it held and it moved right back up through the 300. Big move up higher. Solar today, that should have been an area I should have been watching. I've been looking for First Solar now to kind of go higher with energy names going higher. Look to see if that starts to climb there. How did XOM come back on the day? I wanted to kind of take a look at this to see if it was going to come back on the day. It eventually did. This actually stopped me out today, and then now it's back there towards 104. Oxy was looking a lot better, so we'll look to see if these names can continue to climb. Of course, energy names I'm definitely starting to watch, but actually for the upside move. So we'll see what happens here. MRO with a really nice candle here. Chevron. Can Chevron get that move back up? It definitely took a hit today after trying to make a move to 160. We'll look to see if it gets right back up there. All right, let's keep a look at some of the ones that you guys are mentioning. I got you. We'll keep it rolling here. What you got? Plug and Fubo. All right, it's about 347. We're going to keep going, but Plug with a really nice move higher. I actually have a stock that's similar to this that likes to run, which is FSIL, and I have it in Mumu. And it's just one of these free shares that I got. I literally only have one share. But stocks like this, I'll keep an eye on it. Plug has been going higher, of course. We'll look to see if this can continue climbing. This looks good there on like kind of the 15-minute, how you kind of just got right back below and then now trying to make a move to 1250s. We'll see if it can move above 1250s and start moving higher. Daily chart has been pushing pretty strong here. So we're going to start really reaching some overhead supply around, let's say like 14s, but we could keep pushing here. We'll see if we kind of hold here. We went through this kind of resistance right around the 1170 area. And ever since then have been holding. 12 on pullback seems to make sense. But right now, I don't know if it's going to get back there to 12. All right, let's go. Snow. Yeah, Raz, it was a good move today there in Snow. We'll keep an eye on it. Daniel, you want to take a look at the automotive industry? Let's go for that, Daniel. That's what I'm here for anyways, especially when I hear mentions about industries and sectors. I'm definitely going to catch it in the chat, guys. So if you guys put things up like that, I'll definitely go for it. All right, let's go for it. Let's take a look there at Ford. Ford is one that I'm actually keeping a little bit wary of just because there's union strikes that could be happening. Also with GM. And then I start taking a look at Tesla. Tesla was actually pretty red today early on and then quickly reversed back to 279. So as long as Tesla's strong, I don't want to go shorting that industry. Right now, when Tesla rips higher, a lot of the times Ford and GM just play catch up. So GM and Ford have been going higher, just like Tesla started going higher. So I'm not going to get in front of that because you can really get kind of wrecked, right? XPEV and the China autos. I've been kind of liking them since XPEV was at 10. Now it's pulled back to 14. These had gotten really good tax credits mentions, and something that I'd keep an eye out for, maybe a continued lift as long as Tesla stays strong. This is a common theme. So when I'm thinking autos, when Tesla's really weak, it just seems like all the autos are weak. You guys can maybe find a time where this isn't true, but majority of the times, this is the pattern that I see. Like always, take everything I say with a grain of salt and do some research yourself. All right, let's keep going. Let's get to the next couple of stocks here. Automotive industry is something to keep an eye out for, but I think eventually, Tesla might pull back a little bit. But will we get to 300 before then? It could happen. So that's why I don't want to get in front of Tesla and start shorting here. All right, let's keep going. Let's go to some other stocks. Let's find what other stocks you guys want to take a look at. And of course, we can go to what stocks were kind of in financials leading to the upside today. We do got some earnings reports that are coming tomorrow. JPM is going to be one that I'll be interested in watching. Bank of America is going to be interesting to watch. There's a lot of earnings tomorrow to keep an eye out there, right? And eventually kind of like Citigroup and stocks like that. What will happen to Citi? Citi has a surprise up move sometimes. So I'm going to keep an eye on it. We'll see what happens, man. I don't know what's going to happen in the financial industry, and that's definitely something to keep an eye out for. But we'll find out how these stocks kind of perform tomorrow. And of course, we'll see if it does a little bit of a takeoff through this kind of 48 going to 50s. That'd be a good outlook there on Citi. All right, let's keep going. Easy Mike. Well, for Bitcoin was wrong. Wow, I owe somebody an apology. Hey, don't worry. It happens to the best of us, Easy Mike. And I think that that's very important to catch, right? The truth is, we're not always going to be able to catch, every single move. And sometimes you're going to get it wrong and you're going to miss out moves. We can't be upset about that. We got plenty of opportunities in the market. There's opportunities every single day. So it is what it is, and it's going to happen. I also was wrong on Bitcoin, Easy. So I'll say it. I thought Bitcoin would get down there towards 10,000 or 11,000. And it looks like I might have missed my opportunity by a couple thousand. It happens. That I want Bitcoin? Yeah. And should I have been a little bit maybe less picky? Probably. But too late now to worry about that. The only way I get it now is if it actually comes back to those levels. All right, let's see what other ones are going on there. Qualcomm, we've already touched HD Tech. So if you'd like, just do a little bit of a rewind. And just to kind of mention, they were at our event, AI event today. So if you want to take a look at that interview, feel free. I'll definitely throw up the link in just a second if you guys want to check out that interview. All right, let's keep going. Solar, Matt said. Let's go to solar. We were looking at First Solar. That's going a little bit higher. I kind of like this. I've talked about this, especially now that we're coming to kind of reclaim this trend line. So it kind of went towards this trend line, looked like it wanted to break it. Now we've reclaimed it. So as long as I could risk off that level 190s and 195s, it's not looking too bad here for First Solar. And then I've talked about EMPH and how that had a really nice move. I keep an eye out on these. SEDG loves to come back out of nowhere and start taking a move higher. So I'd keep an eye out on a recovery here and then maybe risking off around 268. But be careful with SEDG because it moves very fast and is wicked. I've traded it in the past, but I've always traded it literally. I go after this stock like share by share. I treat it kind of like Tesla, where I can't go in it too fast because it's wicked in the spread. The spread can go pretty wide on SEDG. We'll see what happens there on Solar Edge and some of these solar stocks. MaxN, another one to keep an eye out for. I know the chat has even mentioned MaxN multiple times. MaxN was doing really well, right? Then came right back down, kind of did that just pull back move, but it's holding the support. So that's actually looking pretty good now to go ahead and start making an up move through the 28. So I'm actually even going to set an alert there on MaxN. I wouldn't even mind swinging off of 26 right here, right? Maybe taking a shot off 26. Doesn't look too bad. I'll look for the move through 27 to maybe take that shot off 26. X finally moving higher. Yeah, I mean, basic materials have not been doing too bad. And I think this is a trade that we got to keep an eye out for now. And why is basic materials moving higher? It's very important to catch, team. So basic materials is moving higher because the dollar is actually getting affected here by that cutting down and going lower. That's actually going to go ahead and make some of these basic materials get some appreciation. I do see some stocks actually starting to lift off here, things that we need to keep an eye out for. We've talked about these in the past. Copper, which one would I look at? I'd look at SCCO, Southern Copper Corp. That's the one I like. But of course, you guys choose which one you guys like. Take a look at this one. Look at the monthly chart here. Really nice pullback that we got recently there towards 80. We'll see if this one can keep going now through that 80 spot. There's a lot of resistance right above, but if it can get through that level, now we can really push through it. So I'd keep an eye out on this. And how can you watch SCCO to see if it's going to go higher? I'd also keep an eye out on FCX. If Freeport can get back up there towards like 47, 50s, oh, I think we're through that level there on Southern Copper. So keep an eye out on those. I'll keep a watch on copper. Aluminum, not looking too bad here. We'll see what happens here on aluminum. Having a hell of a good day also. Alcoa had been getting downgraded. Now finally finds a little bit of some bottom. You can see it on the monthlies and weeklies. They're right around kind of the 34 level, 33.50s. Now you're back up there towards 36. There is some resistance to play around 38s, but we can really start getting this through on the 38s and turning this trend around. So we'll see what happens on this one. On this one, what I would do is I would draw kind of a downward trend line and look for that to kind of hold that kind of trend. So you can draw this right here. So now that we've broken up through this level, I could look for it to come back to that level, or let's say back towards this high from Wednesday, 35.95. So 36 comes into play. We'll see what happens there on Alcoa. That's a turn of trend. I want to keep an eye out for it. All right, let's keep going. We'll talk about some other stocks, but definitely lumber wood production going higher. I've talked about WFG is a really good play to kind of catch here. And I'm looking for any pullback on here to try to play this, especially on the weeklies or kind of 9 EMA pullback opportunities. So if I see WFG come back towards like 86.50s or 86.40s, I'm definitely going to take a shot there because lumber looks like it just wants to take off here. And that's West Fraser timber. And I think another thing that could be playing into effect here is also all the wildfires, right? Why is that not getting this to go higher? And if these products start going higher in price, will HD get the lift again? This is another one that I want to keep on watch. Home Depot could keep going higher. We'll see what happens there. All right, let's keep going. Let's go back to basic materials, and there's more to talk about there. So we're almost done, guys. It's 3:57. I'm going to really quickly go through this to kind of stand out what seems to stand out to me. Now, industrial metals and minerals, another one that I want to keep an eye out for. I've talked about LAC and how I want to get a little piece of this. Well, nice little pullback to 21s right underneath it today. I'm going to take a good shot on this one, team. I'm going to go ahead and take a pretty decent size here to start it off there. Just grab some there at 2093s. I talked about this trade for a little while now. So now I know we're exactly kind of where I can go ahead and have my risk down towards this 2050 here. Just going to go ahead and make that kind of a little bit more bolder to stand out to me. And now we'll look to see if it can kind of hold that pullback, really come back here towards this liftoff and take off back here towards 23. There's a longer term trend line that it will come into play here. And I'm going to keep an eye out on that because once we come back through this trend line, that's like kind of a really long trend line to break. We're talking about a trend line that goes back here towards a topping at the 41.56. Let's start seeing if Lithium Americas can start making a move. And this seems to start making sense with my theme in the long run. So a lot of times we talk about swing trade. I'm going to talk about investments for the last couple of minutes here. So overall, I've talked about vehicles for a long time, and I think that we will get an EV kind of bubble and a major adoption. But what needs to happen? I've talked about it in the past. the charging stations need to happen. And another thing that needs to happen, autonomous and fully autonomous needs to happen. Those are things that I'm looking at, right? Investments. And another one that we can look at is the lithium investment, right? That's going to be needed for these batteries. So that's why I'm keeping an eye out on these battery plays. And I think that the lithium has to maybe go before even the EV completely takes off or the autonomous comes into play. So we'll keep an eye out on these lithium names if they can really start to run. Of course, it's not just going to be these names. There's a bunch of them to keep an eye out for. PLL, MP has been getting the lift lately. ALB is one you guys can keep an eye out for. SQM. There's so many of these lithium names that you guys can watch out for a big move. We'll see if it happens or not. All right, let's go ahead. We're going to wrap it up here. There's so much going on, team. I could talk about the market for days today, of course, because there's so much towards the upside. But let's get back to the market. Let's start to wrap it up here. Looks like we did get up there to 380s. Now start to pull back here. And, of course, what a liftoff, guys. This could be a little bit more of a capitulatory top. So why am I talking about that? Because of the rebalance tomorrow. We'll look to see if they go hitting the market overnight, especially after this huge kind of liftoff, right? This is the hard one. Do I take profits today or do I look to take profits tomorrow or continue the trend? Find out, of course, pre-market prep, what we think about the markets tomorrow. And you never know where we can wake up tomorrow. All right, guys, like always, hit the like button if you guys enjoyed today's show. And like always, I want to get you guys something extra to watch, right? Well, go ahead and check out that Qualcomm interview and our AI event today. Definitely want to get you guys the link to that. So just give me a couple seconds here. I will get you the link to that so you guys can go ahead and go check it out right now. So here you guys have it. Go click this link. If you didn't check out our AI event today, well, now's your chance. Hit that link, and I'll see you guys bright and early on Pre-Market Prep. Hit the like button on your way out.